Hello everyone, welcome to IoT Frontier. My name is Hariharnath. Today we'll be covering step-by-step tutorial on how to connect and use InfluxDB with NodeRed. You'll learn all the prerequisites that are needed to run this tutorial, and we'll see how to write data to InfluxDB and also read the data from InfluxDB. So stay tuned until the end of this video to get all the steps right. First of all, we need few prerequisites to perform this tutorial. You need to have InfluxDB installed on your system. If not, don't worry. Please watch my previous video by clicking the top right corner on or in the description. If you have already installed InfluxDB, you can follow along with me. Now, we also need NodeRed. If you haven't installed NodeRed yet, then you can also watch my previous video to install it by clicking on the top right corner or in the link in the description below. Let me start both InfluxDB and NodeRed now in my system. So now I can see the NodeRed has lost connection because I just wanted to show you how to start it. I'll open command prompt and type node-red. So immediately you can see the server is running at 1880 and right now the error is gone. So now we know NodeRed is running. Next thing is InfluxDB. So in the previous video, I have shown how to install InfluxDB. So the InfluxDB, you need to go to this program files, Influx data and InfluxDB. And here you can do ls and you will find the influx.exe. So I'll just type influx and do the tab. So it will give me this command and I'll enter this. So now you can see it is listening under 8086 port. Now we can see the InfluxDB localhost 8086, and you need to give your username whatever you have done in the previous getting started. You need to make sure it is case sensitive because I have given my name as a capital in the first letter, that's why I need to use that only, and click on sign in. So now we are into the InfluxDB page. You can go to this icon, click on buckets. So previously I have created IoT Frontier bucket, but for this example I can create a new one. So I can create a bucket called home monitoring. I'll give all small letters. So home monitoring and create it. So once you have done that home monitoring, you can just go back to your NodeRed. Now we are all set because we have installed NodeRed, we have started NodeRed as well as started the InfluxDB. Next thing is you need to add the InfluxDB nodes. For example, if I search Influx, I can see Influx nodes available here, but for you it won't be available immediately. So for that, what you can do is you need to go to manage palette and go to install and search for Influx. When you search, you will get NodeRed contrib InfluxDB and you need to click on install. I have already installed, that's why it is showing installed. So once you have done that, you can search for these and you will be able to get these. So now what I'll do is I'll use inject node to send some data, and then I'll also add a debug node. Next, what I can do is I can use change command. I'll explain you why we are writing this. So inside the change command, we need to do some modification in the message. Once that is done, we need to use influx out. So this is the flow I have. So what I'll do is I'll send some messages with a time interval, and it will change here in the change node, and what is the format that we are going to write in InfluxDB, that will be set here. And this is the influx out node which tries to send the data to InfluxDB, and this is for monitoring purpose. Now what I can do is I can use this as send data, rename it. Next, this I'll use as format data. So here what I can do is I'll try to set some messages here. So messages dot fields dot temperature. So I'll try to send two fields, that is temperature and humidity. So for this I can use 30 into random. So what it does is it will generate a random number and multiply with 30 and send it. So for that we need to use expression. So same way I'll use one more field. So this is humidity. I'll again use expression. Here I'll try to use 50 into this random. Next I'll try to use a timestamp. So timestamps I'll put in the tags section. So message.tags.timestamp, and here I can select a timestamp directly. Next is we need to set the payload. So payload has to be set. So for that what I can do is I'll combine both fields as well as tags into the payload. For that I can use append method. So it will create an array of each of them, fields comma tags. Now we are done with this, we can click on done. Next thing is InfluxDB. So we need to set up the InfluxDB. So I can name it as send data to Influx. And first time when you are setting a server, you need to click on this edit icon, and the version I am using is 2.0 and more than that. So that's why I'll use that, and the URL and the token you need to generate. So what I can show you is what you need to do is go to this InfluxDB, click on API tokens. In this button you need to click on API token. I have already created one NodeRed token. So if you want to create one more, you just have to click on this, give an all access API token for testing purpose. For production you can use custom API. So this I need to give NodeRed 2. Then I need to copy this and paste it here. I've already done, so I won't update it. I'll just have to update the organization. So previously I have used IoT Frontier, and the bucket recently we have created. So you can get into the buckets here and home monitoring. So I'll type that home monitoring, and measurement I can create now. So the measurement I can create it as, I can use sensor data. So measurement is sensor data, bucket is home monitoring. So we are done this and click on done. Now deploy. Now we can see under home monitoring we don't have any measurement etc. What we can do is we can click on this button. It is going to send some data. So I need to remove these values because it is trying to overwrite my previous value, that's why. So I'll remove this, click on done and deploy. There is some error, right? So we need to debug. So I can see here I'm not using fields. This is spelling also is wrong. So fields dot temperature, fields dot humidity, tags, and now everything seems to be correct. Click on done, deploy, and voila. We can see two objects in an array. We can see here, right? See temperature, humidity, and timestamp. What I can do now is just check here. I can go back to the buckets, click on home monitoring. Now we can see sensor data immediately coming. So click on this humidity and submit. So you can see that value in the table. So what is the value here? Same way you can click on this, submit, and you can see the temperature value. Now what I'll try to do is send it every 1 second and click on done, deploy it. So immediately you should be able to see every second data is being reflected. So here also we need to check that. So for that we can go to here. Immediately on submitting I can see so many values. So for this what I can do is heat map also can be used. So what we can do is we can also use something like graph plus single stat. The latest value will be shown here. Because we are using humidity and temperature, it is showing both of them. So 27, 22, scatter also can be seen. There are so many ways that you can do this. Next, what I'll do is I'll try to stop this by keeping the interval as none and save it. And remove all the debug values. Next thing what I can do is read influx data. So for that I have already created one, so I'll show you how to do that. So first you need to use the same inject node and rename it. Once you have done that, you write InfluxDB in. So you need to use InfluxDB in. So inside that you have to all set the previous values like token, etc. Once you have done that, you need to use a proper bucket. So what I can do is, from this is the script that we need to use. The bucket I am using right now is home monitoring, and the measurement I am using is, so I can check what is the measurement I am using here. So that is sensor data. So I'll use sensor data, and the field I want is temperature. So I can click on done, and here the last means the last value, latest value will be shown. Done. And same way I'll update another one which is reading for humidity. So here home monitoring, sensor data. Once this is done, I'll just use the debug node to put it on this screen, deploy. So what I can do is I can click on this. Immediately the latest values I am able to fetch here. And same way you can see here like 116, that is 13.16 is the temperature, and 115 we can see 2.43 as temperature. I'll clear this out and again run another one, that is humidity. So we're getting array of 117. So I'll just use this. Here you can see only humidity values are being fetched. Now if you want to get from beginning of the data, so you just have to remove the timestamp and give only 0. So previously I have given minus 30 minutes. So if you do that, again it will be getting from all of the time. But if you want to only get minus 10 minutes, click on done, apply, and similarly you will get the values. So let me revise what we have done. So first we have seen how to do the prerequisites such as NodeRed installation, getting started with NodeRed, as well as how to do the installation of Influx, as well as start the InfluxDB. Once we have done that, we have installed all the necessary nodes using palette. Next, we have set the proper bucket in the InfluxDB, and after that we have created a node here, inject node, as well as the change data to use some inject some values using random method and then send to InfluxDB. Similarly, we have used read flow where we are using influx in node to get the latest values from whatever we need. For example, the field is temperature, we have used temperature. If the field is humidity, we have used humidity like this. That's all for today's video. I hope this video is informative and has guided you the step-by-step tutorial on how to use InfluxDB with NodeRed and also read and write data from and to the InfluxDB using NodeRed. As you have watched until the end of this video, we definitely deserve a like for this video. Your support means a lot to us and helps us keep creating more content like this. So please subscribe to the channel and like this video. If you have any further questions, feel free to comment in the comment section below. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in another interesting video.